Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are the Cast Bros, and you are listening to episode 2. A lot has gone on in these last couple of days. A lot has gone on this whole week. It's been crazy. It's been outrageous. And quite frankly, I'm really excited. Andrew's really excited to talk about a lot of this stuff. But we want to make sure that we start this episode off on a positive note. So we want to start telling you what we drink during these podcasts, because most of the time we only have time to record these at night, and I'm cool with that. Andrew, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a morning person, and so he needs to drink some energy in order to get him along the day. So what are we drinking right now, Andrew? What are you sipping on?
I got Ultra Paradise Monster. That's what I got going for.
Monster energy drinks.
This is just what we got in the house.
Is it your preferred energy drink?
No, I prefer the 0-calorie. Pretty much any of the 0-calorie rock stars. My poison of choice, 300 milligrams, get me to class in the 10 minutes between me waking up and me having to be in the seat.
Now, I have a question. What was your very first energy drink?
It was Ultra Zero Monster. It was a sip. It started as a sip. At our grandfather's house. And I think I was like 12. This was before the quad crash. I remember that. And it was like, oh, you're so old, you might as well have a sip of it and be your first energy, whatever. And then the only reason it was a sip is because mom and dad were there, grandpa was there, whatever. And then we got back. I think it was like the next week, and then we just drank a can together.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
That's right. You know, I totally forgot about that. You know what? I actually think that I remember. Was it an energy drink when it was before the quad crash? But we both went out on the quads, and I think I packed an energy drink for me and an energy drink for you. Wasn't that also one of those first times, or maybe it was just you know what? That was a Sprite. Never mind. We had two Sprites, and I gave you one, and it was like a little bonding moment before I totally endangered you, put you in danger in the quad accident. I am drinking a 3D energy drink. It's one of those weird, knockoff Monster energy drink ones that are supposedly healthy, but they've got their flavors completely on point. So I've really enjoyed drinking those.
There's a shop by the gym that he works at where we know the owner, we're friends, and he has a whole section devoted to different energy drinks, different protein drinks, pretty much every version or every kind that they have there. The different 3D drinks. They had the Red, White, and Boom.
Oh yeah, the Red, White, and Boom, Bang, Bang Energy, the Focus Aid, Fit Aid, all that fun stuff. I wanted to tell you this. So I don't know if I've ever told you, but my energy drink of choice is Monster energy drinks. It, to me, is the best tasting, most consistent. It's like the perfect blend of flavor and carbonation, and like it just has it all for me, at least. So
see here's where I disagree. I have a hierarchy for this. Best taste and effect, Bang, but it has a bunch of calories,
and it has a bunch of false marketing behind it too.
That too. That's I've tried to. A buddy of mine drinks a lot of energy drinks, and I told him that I thought Bang was the best tasting, whatever. He's like, "Oh, that's just a bunch of propaganda. They're not actually that good." I actually think they're that good.
They got good flavors,
but I don't see any of the marketing, whatever. Second is the 0-calorie line of Rockstar. They have the amino acid one, which I don't even know what that does for anything.
Nothing.
It's just 300 milligrams, and it tastes good. Monster. All of the 0-calorie ones, they're mellow. They're 140 milligrams. I can drink it. It's like a cup of coffee. It's not staying up until 2 a.m. writing an essay. That's what the Rockstar's for.
It's you're going to get something from it. It may not keep you up all night if you need that energy to stay up all night, but it's consistent. I don't know if I told you this, but I first started drinking Monsters sophomore year of high school. And Aaron, if you're listening to this, Aaron, our older brother, at the time when we were all living in the house, he would store his energy drinks in the garage. And I don't know if he was trying to hide them or if he wasn't trying to hide them, but he kept the, Sam's Club case of them in the garage. And when I discovered that they were there, at the time it wasn't any of this 0 calorie stuff. It was the low carb monsters. So at the time, I started swiping a few cans every once in a while. I'd sneak into the garage, swipe a can or two, and take them with me over to school. And I'm sure that he probably thought it was Dad. I'm sure he probably thought it was Pop who was taking the cans or something. I don't know. But sure enough, I was slowly eating away at his drink supply until I found myself on a Monster can a day addiction, and I fell into it, man. I completely fell into it.
And that began the well-known fact around our house: Adam eats everything. Where if I want chips on a specific day when my buddies come over, we have a party or whatever. If I want drinks, if I want the skinny pop bags of popcorn, whatever, we have to hide them. And I don't just mean, throw them in the garage, wait for the day to come, and then we pull them out into the kitchen where that's where the day-to-day food is. No, we have to actually hide them under the bed, in the cabinet, under some cardboard boxes, because if we don't, he will, out of the corner of his eye, see a plastic bag, pull it out, and devour the entire bag in one sitting.
Dude, it is a survival instinct skill, man. I can find all of the foods that you don't want me to find. And I've been doing that since I was little, man. All the things that you hide, all the things that you don't think I'll find, I will find it and I will eat it.
And now when he comes over to visit and comes to the house, we're drinking Monsters, we're drinking Coke Zeros, and then right before he leaves, oh yeah, and then 4 cans of Monster in his hand on his way out, trying to clean us out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, especially when it comes to Monster. I mean, like I was saying, that's something that since I've been in high school, growing up, I've just been drinking that all of my life. And I don't think how many things Monster had come out with that. I don't know if they were just copying other brands, but Monster really did try to do it all. They had their regular energy drink, they had their low carb energy drink, they had their absolutely zero energy drink, they had their concentrated energy drink, their energy shooters, which was basically 5-hour energy on steroids, which is even then hard to believe, right? But they did it. So I was set up to be a junkie for Monster energy drinks, and that is why I have made sure that I've been a positive influence on Andrew, and only slightly made him an energy drink addict, not as much as me.
But the difference is you drink energy drinks because you like energy drinks. You drink them all the time, stay up late, get up early, you do runs, whatever. I drink them because I don't like coffee. I think if it was anything else, I'd be drinking coffee. I hate the taste of coffee, so I'd rather drink this. Tastes like fruity gasoline. And
now, do you like frappuccinos? Is that something you?
Yes, I do. I do like fraps, but you and I both know that that's mostly sugar. So that's.
Well, I was going to tell you now if you didn't know. I'm just kidding.
It's ice cream and sugar.
No, I know some people don't like the bitterness of coffee. I love coffee. I mean, that was probably something that you saw in me growing. What the heck is Adam doing walking around with an energy drink? And then 10 minutes later, he has a coffee. 10 minutes later, he's got a different energy drink. And then a pre-workout before he goes and works out. What the heck is wrong with this dude?
No, and then this guy, you're the one that introduced me to C4 when we would work out my sophomore year. And I'd go to the gym itching because of the amino acids you said it was?
No, it's
beta started making me itch.
It's called beta-alanine.
Whatever.
Yeah, it gives you that sensation like ants are crawling on your face, the itchiness, and it gets you that ready to work out. Oh yeah. Hoorah.
Yeah, but he's not even the worst coffee fanatic that we know. Our friend Vincent, he has a portable espresso maker that he takes everywhere.
What did you just say espresso?
I don't know what it's called. I don't know. It's a little thing.
Espresso, my friend.
Espresso? I don't care. I told you I don't drink coffee, but he takes it everywhere. And when when Adam and Jaylene were getting married, that morning, me and Vincent were staying over at Adam's place, and the first thing he's like, "Who wants an espresso? Who want to start making coffee for everybody?" I drank it. Didn't like the taste, but woke me up.
What was the coffee called? Did he give you? Was it that one brand that he got
I
us?
don't remember. I think it was, but I don't remember.
Oh, I have it. I have it in the cabinet, but it's like called Death Coffee or Death Coffee or something like that. I completely forgot what it's called. I'm sorry, Vincent. So sorry. But it's in the cabinet. And like when we really need to wake up, when it's like one of those days where you need everything that the good Lord can give you in a coffee cup. That's the one that we go to because it's got like 800 milligrams of caffeine in it or something, and it's crazy. But yeah, that's you know what too. Transitioning this into music, I feel like in the rock star music scene and everything, everybody just had energy drinks. It was like the edgy thing to do when you went to a concert. You saw band members who would carry energy drinks. You saw people going to concerts carrying energy drinks. It was almost like a novelty thing to be holding a Red Bull or holding a Monster or holding like. What do you see when you go to these events sold, right? You see water, you see soda, and you see energy drinks. And it just was all around us in those events growing up. When we went to Spirit West Coast, and we'd go to other concerts, and we'd go to even events that you would like to go to, like the Monster Car events or whatever.
Monster Jam, yeah.
Yeah, whatever events we'd go to, it seems like water, Coke, and Monster, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but you would know that better than I did. My mom and my brother would take me to concerts when I was like 5 because my parents didn't believe in babysitters, I guess. And I was the kid who was always at the concert. I wasn't as into it as you were. I never really was into the concerts as much as you were. I was dragged along.
Trying to influence you to like rock music was a family affair. Okay, we were all trying. Dad doesn't even care about rock music, but even he was like, yeah, we got to bring him along and make sure he listens to all of the hard rock people. He'd really like these bands, you know. We tried. What happened?
Listen, I just don't go to concerts.
Yeah. Well, what was it about concerts that you didn't like? Because I know that we've talked about concerts. You don't like live versions of music, right? You don't like remixes or live versions of music, right?
I don't like remixes because for whatever reason, in my mind, it distracts from whatever the song was originally supposed to be. I know that isn't the case. I know that isn't always the case. Sometimes the band themselves comes out with the remix, but just in my head, it's not the same. It's not the same song. If I like the remix, it's because I like the remix, not because I like the song, so on and so forth. And then watching live versions, it's the same thing. It's here's the song as it was recorded. This is the perfect version of the song. Straying from that in any way, my brain just doesn't click. I don't know, I'm weird. But and I'm sure that's not disputed by you. But
I can confirm.
Concerts themselves, I've never had an issue with. I think the only benefit I've ever had from a concert is when I go with people. Me, Adam, Jaylene, our parents, and my girlfriend Stephanie went to a Skillet concert not too long ago.
Yeah.
And we had a great time.
Like not too long ago, like right before the pandemic. It was the end of February. It was either the beginning or the end of February, but right before the month where all this stuff went down, we were able to enjoy that concert. I'm so thankful too. So thankful we were able to go to that concert because it was amazing. So when you go to a concert and you do hear a band like change it up, add an outro or whatever, do you think like, oh, you ruined the perfect song, or do you get some enjoyment for seeing how they play with it?
There's listening to a live version, I think I would get that because here's what I expect, here's what I got. But being at a concert, for whatever reason, it's different. When the drums are going, it physically beats your heart. You can feel everything, your internal organs moving, all the energy around you. And like I said, the people you're with. I was there. It wasn't even part of the concert, but before the concert started, they were playing music in the background, and me and Stephanie are screaming it out to Linkin Park before the thing even started.
Everybody in the concert area was singing. I think that's another thing too. Like you can listen to a band, but when you go to a concert and you're surrounded by other people who enjoy the same music that you do, who are there for the same band, and you are experiencing that with them and you can sing along with them, I think it just kind of it hits you a different way. At least it does for me, you know? And that was a beautiful moment that when that song came up and everybody was singing the Linkin Park song. It just kind of showed you that we all, that's especially now knowing that that might have been the last time all those people, including us, went to a concert. I'm craving that right now, man. I can't wait to go to a concert. And it was really cute to see you two singing with each other at the concert, singing face to face, and they're like, "Feel like a monster."
Whatever. But yeah, we had a good time, and it was more being into it, being there, being around other people. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just having a good time. So actually going to a concert, no, I don't feel like I got gypped or they ruined the song. It's just I'm at a concert.
Yeah. I hear you. I was the opposite growing up. I was like on YouTube relentlessly trying to find live versions of songs because I was like, okay, I've already heard what it's like when they do it perfectly. I want to know what it's like when they do it, when they pick up their instruments, and when perfection is on the line, they're able to either perform or not perform. Like I wanted to know they were human too, and like seeing how countless singers would be perfect on the recording but then suck live. It was like, oh wow, they're human too. They don't sing perfectly. It's all in studios and it's all edited too. So like, a lot of them have great voices, but when you're singing, 8 to 12 to 15 songs in the night, your voice is going to fade a little bit. And then seeing how they would add outros, seeing how they would add crazy intros and the fire and the moves and flipping guitars and doing backflips and jumping off of speakers. And, I don't know if you guys experienced that growing up, but those were things on a regular basis that I would experience. People doing backflips and flips off of guitars and stuff. It's pretty cool. But
I think the most memorable for me was the one that Newsboys did where they strapped him to the drum set. Mm-hmm. And then lifted him up and did the whole sideways
turning and sideways and everything. Yeah. Oh, so cool.
That was fun.
So yeah, I really hope that we get to come back to doing live concerts. Amberlin did another live concert the other day, and it turned out really, really well. They upped their production. I don't know what these bands are going to do when they like go through all of their albums and play them live. I don't know if it's, I'm sure people will still want to go see them, even if they've seen them live through a computer screen. They still want to go and see the band. I know I've seen multiple bands multiple times, but it almost seems like, what happens when they've played all of their songs live online already. I hope this doesn't last too much longer. Otherwise, it's going to lose its luster. You know what I mean?
And like we were talking about, it was a Disciple, right? Disciple put out 2 concerts that we saw together, mm-hmm. and a bunch of the songs that came out in the first one, they didn't play in the second one. And the second was supposed to be, top 15, top 20?
Yeah, they're top, 15 or 20, the People's Choice, the songs that people voted to have on there. Yeah.
And I remember thinking, how did this song not make it in the top 5? How did this song not show up at all? It's because they played in the last one, and I forgot that they did. Mm-hmm. So they have to divvy out who gets what, which ones are prioritized, how they're going to keep it entertaining for us. If we're sitting on our couch, they're trying to amp us up. They're calling us to get out of here, get off your sofa, jump up and down, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm very comfortable here with my Coke Zero.
I know we watched the concerts totally laying down, not laying down, but like sitting down on the couch and just relaxing. We didn't get up and mosh pit or anything. We had popsicles and tacos.
Dude, let's be honest. If we were at a concert, like a Spirit West Coast concert, we'd have a bag of kennel corn and the green lawn chairs that were also backpacks. You remember those? And we'd take to every concert to save our spots.
Yep, that we'd try to not carry and make dad carry or something just because they were annoying to carry? Uh-oh.
You would make everybody else carry all of your crap. For the record, he would do this constantly. He'd say, as soon as we got out of the car, hey, can you hold my drink? Or, hey, can you hold my backpack? I'm like, okay, I'm holding it while he's doing something. And then he'd walk away.
Okay, here's my logic.
And he expected me to carry it for the rest of the trip.
Here's my logic, okay? Most of you guys planned ahead and knew you're going to be bringing a lot of stuff. You better bring a backpack, right? Now, I never cared to bring a lot of stuff with me. I'm like, I can survive off of my wallet and, my phone alone. But I'm going to bring a drink with me. I'm going to have a hat, maybe a sweater. Like, it's not a lot of stuff. It's a little bit of stuff, and it's all really light. And you guys have backpacks. So, do I have to carry it? What's a little sweater, on top of everything else that you brought, What's a water bottle in a purse? What's a sweater in a bag, So if you
when you're 14 and I'm 7,
I got to finish this. Hold on, this is important. This is probably the best part. So if I've got to, what's a water bottle? What's a sweater in your bag for the sake of me looking just a little bit cooler walking down Spirit West Coast concert festival, not being a dweeb, holding my sweater, wrapping it around my waist. No one's looking for the cool 7-year-old or the cool dad. They're looking at the 14-year-old with the not of this world T-shirts and everything, glasses and hat and everything. I was insecure. I didn't want to hold things with me while I was walking around. So yes, I divvied them up.
Because you had to be the center of attention. You had to be the hero of your own story, whatever.
The middle child syndrome, yeah.
Yeah. I'm very confident in my status as the third child. Very confident.
Yeah, you got everything, man. You
See, but here's the difference. I got everything, but I appreciate everything I have. Everything.
There was no fear of you getting hurt or
That's a lie. You and Aaron would bully me.
No. Yeah, we'd bully you, but like, how do I say this? What did we say? You got.
Remember, Mom listens to the podcast.
You got the Mickey Mouse hands, right? And Aaron wanted Mickey Mouse hands going to Disneyland. I wanted Mickey Mouse hands going to Disneyland, but because you were the third child, and it was like, oh yeah, we might as well just get in the Mickey Mouse. You got the Mickey Mouse. Like, you got the things that
I think that has less to do with you guys being older and more to do with the fact that by that time Dad was saved.
Possibly, yes. My father accepted Christ
around the time, just before I was born, I think.
Yeah, just before.
I think that's what they said.
So I
got lucky.
I will say this, okay? My parents show no partiality, okay? My mom loves all of her sons all the same, and my dad dislikes all of his sons all the same. So, actually, no, that's it. Never mind. No, I know. I see Andrew's face. He dislikes all of his sons. He dislikes Andrew the least. But
don't worry, it's not by much. It's not by much.
We have been very blessed. Actually, we have to say this because we did get critiques from our mother, telling us that we threw her under the bus with the whole Tiger King thing. So we do have to say we were raised very, very well, and we appreciate our mother. We love our mother for the way that she raised us and for the things that she has blessed us with, and my father for providing and for being the amazing father that he is. We are very thankful. Everybody out
there. Our mother has influenced us spiritually. She's influenced us musically, inspired us for you to do all your music stuff. And Dad's been buying you the instruments, the equipment. Mom's inspired me to do choir all through middle school and high school.
Great examples of great parents. And, they're both human. They're both flawed as well. The older that we get, the more we see that, of course. But, we're very thankful. So we love you, and all of you guys listening, make sure that you appreciate your parents, appreciate them, love them, and Andrew, we've got some stuff to talk about.
I was really glad that we got to do this whole telling stories monologue or whatever this was. I appreciated it for the time that it lasted. because I knew what was coming. Because I don't want what's
It's
coming.
so bad right
I
now.
want it to happen.
I know, but it's got to. Let's at least start with the easy one that I hope everyone can agree on, which is okay. I will say this, okay? Explicit alert. Not that we're going to say anything, but there are adult conversations happening. We know we've got some youngsters listening, and you can listen if you want to. But parents having their children listen right now, just know we're going to be talking about some adult things concerning the culture right now, issues concerning the culture right now. And since we were talking about music, one thing that we want to bring to light, and you know what? Again, thankful for the way that our parents raised us. We were raised to always look at the words of the songs that we were listening to. To us, music is not just a beat. Music is not just a nice thing to listen to that gets our mood going and everything. Like, music is art. Music is a way of expression, especially music that has words from people who have stories, that have messages behind them, that have things that they're trying to communicate. And I really do believe that all music communicates something. And whether that's a positive message, a neutral message, or a negative message, all music can communicate something. And so we were raised listening to Christian music. We were raised listening to bands like Switchfoot, like Jeremy Camp, Skillet, Thousand Foot Krutch, Stellar Cart, Reliant K,
MXPX,
Family Force 5. What else? Falling Up. We listened to, all these different bands. Decipher Down.
I listened to Heart's Remedy, but that doesn't count for him.
Seventh Day Slumber. All of these bands. Disciple, the ones that we mentioned. Underoath. Amberlin, Emery. All these different bands that all had positive messages. Positive messages behind their music. A lot of them even like borderline worship music, and their messages were based off of their life experiences. And not all of it was like worship music. Not all of it was God music. Some of it was secular, meaning it just didn't necessarily have anything to do with God, but it had meaning behind it. And we learned to value that. And I think the more that we started listening to other music and secular music and popular culture music and everything, like, we liked the beats and we liked even some of the things that they said. Songs in and of themselves are not Christian or non-Christian. It's the people who write them, and everybody has positive and negative life experiences that they can share their stories with. But I think we came to find out that there's a lot of negative stuff out there in music. Like, people talk a lot of like nonsense in their music, things that either don't make sense or things that just don't add any value to our lives at all.
And that's where the difference between a neutral subject and the negative subject, because I think you've already on the podcast, we've mentioned bands that we listen to that aren't Christian, that are mostly secular songs. And we'll probably reference more in the future. Mm-hmm. And those are just the kind of bands that we listen to because we do like the songs, we do like the messages, because they don't have any sway one way or the other. They're good overall messages. But there are some that are just out there.
Woo,
like the one that we are going to talk about today.
Yeah. So recently, and let me double check this as I'm doing this. Recently, there's been a song that's been put out, and it's by an artist who has already gained a lot of really big popularity within the culture. And it's been really surprising to see this. Let's see, I'm on Spotify right now, and I'm going to charts. On charts for United States Top 50. Yep, it is still there. Last updated 2 hours ago. Now, top 50 songs in the U.S., it's number 1. I'm also going to go to global, Spotify global. And yep, updated 20 hours ago, it is still there as number 1. Now, this song is a song from Cardi B, and it's called WAP. Which and I'll go ahead and say again, explicit, we're going to be talking about some adult things right now. So for kids, don't need to, there are things you don't need to know.
Additional disclaimer, if you haven't heard the song, this is not us telling you to listen to it. In fact, we are telling you not to.
Don't listen.
We are warning you.
There are certain things in life that you don't need to experience. You don't need to know what pineapple on pizza tastes like. You don't need to know what putting honey and butter in your coffee tastes like. You don't need to know what it's like to jump out of a plane. And there's just certain things in life you don't need to know what it feels like in order to do, right? Let's talk more mainstream, right? You don't need to know what it's like to smoke a cigarette. You don't need to know what it's like to get drunk. You don't need to know what it's like to do all these different things in order to live life. I'm blessed to know many people, men, okay, fathers and mothers and adults who have gone through their whole adult lives without experiencing these things and are perfectly fine, okay? So you don't need to experience certain things. And if that includes listening to a certain song or band, I'll give you an example. I have never, ever, ever looked up the Beatles on Spotify and listened to the Beatles. Never done it. Don't care to. Okay. I've heard enough in commercials and stuff. I know I don't like it. I just don't. I don't need to know what it sounds like. I don't need to know what a full album sounds like. I just haven't
too
done
mellow
it.
for you.
Same thing with like Wu-Tang. I've never looked up Wu-Tang and listened to that old school rap kind of stuff. I just don't care to. Never have done it. I don't need to. Okay? You do not need to look up the song. You do not need to listen to it. Take our word for it. But this is a song that has reached number one popularity in the world. And WAP happens to stand for wet. And use your discretion. We're using discretion here in how we describe this. But wet butt female sexual organ. Okay? You can put those pieces together. And this phrase is said multiple times in the song. The leading lyrics in the song are that there's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house over and over and over and over again.
Throughout the song.
And it's basically a song that is talking about how if you're a woman who is attractive and if you want something, all you need to do is just go and have sex with a rich man and have him swipe his credit card for you to buy those things. If you want a car, if you want jewelry and a coat, and if you want even college tuition, buy good things with your sex. It's outrageous. It is insane that we live in a world where the number one song right now is literally extort your body with sex and you can get what you want.
But it's empowering if they say it.
Oh yeah. It's been on articles saying that this is women empowerment. That these are great examples for the culture right now. Women who know what they want and are able to go and get it. Who know what they want and they can go and get it and they can use whatever means necessary to go and advance their lives. A great song, number one song, hit song in the globe. This is what represents the world right now. This is what literally. This is what represents our country, and this is what represents the world. The people who you can't fake your plays, right? When you go and listen to a song, you can't fake how many times you've played a song. Every single one of us who own a Spotify knows that at the end of the year, you get sent the top songs for 2019, top songs for 2018, right? You can't fake those plays. The ones that you've put on repeat and have heard over and over and over and over again, Spotify listens, okay? Spotify knows, and it will put it in your face and say, these are the songs that you've been listening to the most, okay? Right now, the world right now is listening to wet butt female organ, and you can use your body for sex and get the things that you want. And in this song, it's very explicit, very, very explicit. There's a lot of sexual innuendos, and there's a lot of very in your face.
I don't even think you can call them innuendos. It's just graphic. It's very vivid, very descriptive, and to the point where, and I would say that I have a high constitution. I have a high visual intake tolerance. I like to hunt. I've seen gashes. I got my back tore up in the quad accident. I can see a lot of things. I grew up watching Law and Order SVU.
Mind you, we didn't actually watch the video. Okay, we watched the lyric video for it. So this wasn't even the official video. We both saw the lyric video for it because we had seen other like YouTubers and conservative podcasts doing reviews of this song, and then I happened to find out it's number one. And like this is something that is, whether we like it or not, is an attitude that is within so many different areas of the culture right now. So yeah, we saw the lyric video. Just want to make sure make sure people know, because unfortunately a lot
And
of
with
the videos are very inappropriate, even on top of the words. you know.
and even just with the song, I was visibly gagging. It
a very
grossed me out.
explicit. It's a very
Disgusted me.
explicit song. So I just feel really sad for artists who do put time into making their art, put time into making sure they're able to communicate meaningful messages, positive messages, and they're trying to aspire to be great musicians and be world-renowned musicians, and then they go to the top 50 charts in the USA, and what's number one? What is the number one song? And it's this filth. It's this disgusting filth of a song. And it's even worse than that. So articles on this song also showed that I guess Cardi B was trying to market the song by saying, hey, if you do hashtag whatever, basically support the song and support this organization for women, and it will, like, using the song as a means of doing something good, using the song as a means of a platform for a good cause or something like that. That is so distorted. That is so. Why do you need a song to do that? Why do you need a disgusting song to catch the attention of people to do a good deed? It just does not make sense. And then Cardi B happens to be the one who interviewed Joe Biden for whatever reason. I don't even know, but she represents the people, I guess, too, and is able to interview Joe Biden on certain issues and tell him the demands of the people. It's just so weird. It's just so off. And this is the example that we are setting for our young people. This is the example we're setting for young people, not even just musicians, right? You tell musicians, like, oh, write a great song that's able to get to a lot of people and get a lot of views. What is a great song? Oh, well, look at the number one song around right now. Oh, they're talking about sex and body organs and different kinds of sex and all these sexual innuendos and not sexual innuendos, direct in your face sexual phrases. So what is a young person to do when they're trying to make good music? Obviously not that, but what are they being told? And then it's
and what's worse is the youth of right now. They're going to look on, oh, what are all my friends listening to? Oh, what's really popular in music right now? Especially kids who would have been like we would if we didn't have our parents to guide us in this. They're thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to listen to whatever's popular in the world, whatever's popular in the US, and they start listening to that. Children. Because kids have access to the internet, kids have access to YouTube Music, Spotify, whatever, and they're going to listen to it.
Yep.
And they're going to take it seriously. The same issue with women empowerment, wanting to sexualize themselves because it makes them feel good. Well, now young girls are going to think, well, this is how they feel good. Maybe I should do something like this. And young boys are going to think, well, if it makes them feel good, then I should see them that way too. And it's just a domino effect, a slope that we won't be able to pull back from if this is what our society is letting be the main message, the loudest voice that are going to reach children.
Exactly. And there's a really interesting thing happening right now with TikTok gaining popularity and Reels on Instagram gaining popularity. And this is going to tie into something else that we wanted to mention. But this song is popular, and they know that their song is popular. So you better believe that this song is on TikTok and that people are dancing to it. Young people are dancing to it, and they're getting the attention because it's the most popular song. They're getting the likes, they're getting the followers, they're getting the comments, they're getting all of this stuff, and they're seeing and they're learning that, hey, if I do these things and I play these songs, that I get what I want, which is attention and followers and influence and all this stuff. So this must be a good thing. This is a means of getting this good thing. And you're seeing that with the Instagram. You're seeing that with, oh wow, did I just say the Instagram? I'm getting old, guys.
Sound like dad.
Look it up on the YouTube. But it's happening on Instagram. It's happening on TikTok. And there was something on Netflix that was coming out. What is it called? Cuties. That was supposed to release in September, and I think it still is. But it's basically following the story of this young girl who I guess learns how to do these. What did they say? What kind of dances? What was under the thing? It's basically provocative dancing, and the storyline is that her parents don't want her doing this dancing, but she ends up doing it anyways. And there were some very questionable looking pictures to market the movie, and a lot of conservative viewers of Netflix were contacting them saying like, hey, this is not cool. This is not cool that you're putting these pictures of these little girls dancing in this way to market the movie. And then not only that, but this is weird, okay? This movie is about little girls dancing, okay? The rating for the movie is TVMA. How is it that a movie that is about little girls dancing is only for mature audiences? Andrew, can you explain that to me? How does
In
that
and of
work?
itself, it comes down to the same issue that we were talking about the song. It's sexualization of women, but this is worse. It's children. It's to the point where if it's graphic enough to be mature content, and you have if you have children as your leads and they're put in these situations, this is how you normalize sexualization, and that's not okay. There was a conversation with a Netflix employee that started circulating soon after, where they had called them out, asking them if they were supporting pedophilia. And Netflix, in response, said that they respect all cultures and all walks of life, something along those lines. But they never said no. Regardless of culture, regardless of religious affiliation, it's illegal in the United States to do those kind of things with a child. It should not be normalized to think about doing those things with a child. As Christians, we abhor that thought. I don't know a better way to say it. It hurts. It hurts to know that people are abusing children. It hurts to know that in any capacity, the innocence of a child is being taken away from them. And the fact that people are going to make money off of these kind of children, that are going to make money making it worse, making more people think about it, supporting the kind of people who would take that innocence, hurt children who don't know any better, who don't know what it means to give themselves up to somebody.
Yeah, and
It hurts.
There's two sides to every story, right? There is a side of this to where I do know that in the storyline, I guess the girl who's dancing does learn that she needs to respect her. Like basically the storyline is that the parents are really strict, and the girl wants to dance, but the parents are saying, no, you got to work. And so she sneaks off and still dances. It's a tale as old as time, right? And then later on she realizes, oh no, I do need to, still love my family and respect. I guess that's the storyline. I think that's the storyline from what I've read, but it's still exploiting these little girls who were, up until this time, like, we've heard stories like this before, but it's usually girls who are over 18 who are taking on these roles of girls who are maybe in high school, and like the whole dancing thing or singing in choir, like Sister Act, right? It's a Sister Act kind of story where the girl's not supposed to go and sing with the choir, but she does. But it's never been this provocative in its nature. It's never been this young and provocative in its nature, and it's never been this young and provocative in its nature and only meant for mature audiences. So there is a sense of where is the line then? What are we crossing a line by putting this out there as entertainment. And yeah, like you said, normalizing it for the communities and for the world to see, and, you know, match that with laws that are trying to get passed right now to make it so that people who are having relationships with minors can get away with sexual activity without getting on the registered sex offender list, as long as they're within 10 years of the minor. The SB 145, that was big news today, because I think it just got passed in California or something. But so SB 145 would allow a sex offender who lures a minor with intent to commit a felony the ability to escape registering as a sex offender if the offender is within 10 years of age of the minor. So I think they have to prove that there's a relationship there. But even if it's a minor, as long as it's within 10 years, they're not a registered sex offender. That's either a bill that just got passed or bills that are trying to get passed. So these things are happening right now in the midst of, oh, now there's a mature audience movie that's coming out with little girls dancing as the main, you know, storyline. Yeah, this is the world we live in, where the number one song in America is talking about using your body for sexual, or exploiting your sexuality for what you want and what you need and what you want to obtain, and it's empowering to do so. And then, you know, entertainment is little girls dancing, and you have to be mature in order to watch that. A mature audience in order to watch that. And then also, I don't know if you knew this, because it was mixed in with all the other stuff, but in the world right now, where there are riots happening in the name of Black Lives Matter, and there are people who are involved with altercations with the police, whether they're guilty or innocent. Right now, racism is a very sensitive topic. The number one song in the world right now and in the USA has the N-word in it. Tell me how this makes sense. How does this make sense?
There isn't an answer. It's people are deciding that whatever was taught to them to be good, whatever the world at one point thought was good. A lot of people ignore that America, when it was founded, was predominantly Christian. They were raised to believe certain things. That's where we get conservative, being conservative, holding to the original values that our fathers did, their fathers before them, so on and so forth. The idea is to not just go away from that, but to reject it entirely. And now we have people who, well, you can't say the N-word, but I can. You can't sexualize me, but I can sexualize myself.
But I can.
You can't tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. And that's the kind of mentality that we have right now. But the fact of the matter is, whether it's wrong in our eyes or not, it's destructive. It's self-defeating. And it's harmful to not just us, but to the next generation. Yeah. The children that are going to see this and think, well, this is normal. This is the way the world is. It's okay to say the N-word if you are one. It's okay to sexualize women if you are one. It's okay to do whatever it takes to get what I want, regardless of who it hurts.
Yeah, and even if it hurts me, you know, then I still don't care. I still don't care about the consequences. We were raised to accept the fact that our frontal lobe would not fully develop until we were 25, 26, right? And Andrew, you're not there yet, and that's okay. But I am.
I'm not sure you're there yet either. Let's be honest.
But part of what the frontal, frontal lobe or frontal cortex, I don't know.
Exhibit A.
Part of what it's supposed to do is help you with risk analysis. Okay, if I do this, then what will the consequences be? Is this the smartest decision to make? And you analyze the risk based off of those thoughts. And also, one of the things that we were raised to see and know was that as Christians growing up, many people would assume that we are only Christians because our parents are Christians, or only Christians because we were raised in the church. Like, we just don't know what the world is like. We just don't know anything about the world. And we've been raised in the Christian bubble. We don't know anything else. We don't know any better.
See, but our parents made it a point for that not to be the case. They made sure we knew other cultures. They made sure we went to places where we could absorb other cultures, other religious practices.
We were exposed to a lot of different sides to these stories and a lot of different sides to these opinions. And I honestly feel like this is exactly what, like, you know, BLM, Republican, Democrat, that's exactly what these people are doing to their own children. They're basically saying, hold this sign, please, you know, hold this sign and let's go to a protest, when the kids don't even understand what they're protesting for, or don't understand the organizations that they're protesting with and protesting for.
There was a woman from one of the BLM riots who brought their 8-year-old son or child, and the reporter asked them, why did you bring your child here, or what have you told them about what's going on? And she said, well, my son asked, why are we here? Why are we protesting, holding up signs? And she said, and I told him, they're oppressing us because white people hate us. And that's what they're telling their kids. They're telling their kids that they're oppressed. They're telling their kids that all white people are racist. So you're causing more division than actually coming up with solutions. You're teaching them to continue a cycle of thinking that white people hate them, whether they do or not. And this is why I appreciate the way our parents raised us. It wasn't, this is the right way, and don't think about anything else. It was, here are all the options. Here's why we believe what we believe. And weighing out all the options for ourselves, we decided this is still the best way.
Yeah, we use our frontal lobe cortex, whatever the heck it's called. Andrew, help me out here. What is it called? Frontal lobe or frontal cortex, or frontal cortex lobe? Something. It's called something. Lobe. We use it to make decisions and say, is this the best choice? We don't just blindly follow the mob. We don't just blindly follow our parents. We don't just blindly follow a news station, or the loudest voice, or our favorite actor. You know, I grew up listening to all these bands. Andrew, you too. We grew up listening to all these Christian artists, all these bands. Hawk Nelson is one of those groups that we both grew up loving and listening to, and we have you know, had countless emotions even to all these different songs. Every little thing, you know, that song is like the first love song that we were ever really truly introduced to. And you know, it rings in us how we looked up to these guys who were able to stand so boldly for God and be in a Christian band, all this stuff. And then years later, we find out that they don't believe in God, or one of them doesn't believe in God. You know, one of them was just kind of sucked into the industry of Christian music and didn't really know what he felt about certain things, and wasn't quite sure, and had doubts about it, and then just decided, you know what, I don't think I believe in God. That doesn't affect what we have decided. You know, we have weighed out the options. Our decision to be Christians and to follow after God was not based off of other people. It was based off of what was introduced to us, the sides that were given to us, and by us weighing everything out, we have made that decision. But so many people right now, as it's concerned to the kind of music they listen to, or the kind of news stations they watch, or the kind of party that they vote for, is only based off of, this is just what I've always done. This is what the person on the news is telling me. This is what my parents are doing. And so therefore I'm going to do it too. My parents say that this is what Trump said, so I'm going to do this. The parents said that this is what Joe Biden will give us, and so this is what I'm going to do. Because
they don't want to hear conflicting ideas. They don't want to hear when you try to explain something to someone in the crowd, someone in the riots, they don't want to hear it because they don't want to even chance being swayed from whatever they believe in. They've been told this, they've been taking it in, and they hold that to be true without being exposed to anything else. Whereas people like you and me, like we've said before, we're more leaning. I've talked to friends who are more leaning towards the middle, and it's debate, it's conversation. I have a friend of mine who wasn't politically motivated until the BLM riots recently, and now he is full blown. It's not. He's not even conservative. He's anti-liberal. So our conversations are expose each other to different sides of the story and come to a conclusion. People don't want to do that. People don't want to have conversations. They don't want to find solutions. They want to be angry, and they want people to say it's okay to be angry. They want to say it's good to be angry. It's righteous to be angry. So if I'm angry, anything I do goes, and I can do whatever I want as long as I'm angry about something.
Yeah, we're leading up to this moment right here, okay, which I've been wanting to make a stand on, and I think it's been very clear in our language. It's been very clear in the things that I've posted on my personal page. But I want to come out and say that we do not support BLM. We do not support hashtag Black Lives Matter. We support Black lives. We love Black people. Okay? I have trained multiple Black clients. I have Black friends. I have Black trainers that I've trained beside.
It's racist to say you have Black friends.
We have Black community in our church. I'm not against Black people. Okay? I am not a racist. Okay? But when you look at a organization, Black Lives Matter, hashtag Black Lives Matter, sounds like they're fighting for racism, right? It sounds like it's just a racial thing. Like if you support Black Lives Matter, you are supporting Black lives. They have proven that that is not true. They have proven in not only in their deed, but also in their word and also in their written word on their websites that they have non-racial agendas. Non-racial agendas that have nothing to do with race, nothing to do with saving Black lives or standing up for Black lives, but adding in things like defund the police, adding in things like dismantling cisgender roles, adding things like let's make sure that we erase the prescription of the Western nuclear family, which is literally one of the strongest statistics to create a successful life, is making sure that when you raise kids, you have a mommy and a daddy, and you are grown up in a family. That is the nuclear family that is proven time and time again to be the most advantageous kind of situation that a child can grow up in, and they want to do away with that. This is just not something we can stand for. And not only as people, but as Christians. The Bible talks about how God created the man and the woman. The man and the woman are supposed to be joined together and become one, and they are supposed to multiply and have children. That is the blueprint for creating a family, and that is a blueprint for how men and women are supposed to live.
And we don't even want to come off like we're shaming people. We know that there are variables in these kind of things, but we do speak from experience because of our parents. Our mom and our dad filled those roles and raised the three of us, me, Adam, and Aaron. And now, because of that, and I do think that the major influence for us was because mom and dad were together throughout our lives. Mom and dad made it a point to do what they felt they needed to do, what they were called to do by God. Aaron is successful. Adam is successful in his career choice. He's going to start a family soon, I think, maybe. See what Jaylene says.
News to me.
And I'd like to say that I'm on my way. And it has nothing to do with privilege. If anything, the only privilege we have are our parents. The fact that they put so much of their lives into making sure that our lives would be good, that we would be successful, pushing us, telling me, because in elementary school I had all A's, that I need to keep that up, and that's what they expected of me. Telling Adam that whatever you're going to do, make sure you do it to the best of your ability. And always being there for Aaron whenever he needed them. Just being there, doing what the world will tell you is bad because they're gender roles, gender stereotypes. They filled those roles not for their sake, but for ours. And it's paid off. I'd say it's paid off significantly.
And here's the deal. Okay, we have to weigh things out based off of what the Bible tells us to do. Okay, there are certain things in the Bible that it says that a father is supposed to do, and I do believe that our Father has done that extremely well. There are certain things that the Bible says that a mother is supposed to do, and I do believe that our mother has done that extremely well. There are certain things that even tells children that they're supposed to do. And you know what? I think every child fails desperately at doing this. But honestly, we have always tried to honor our parents in everything that we do. Honor them. We may butt heads, we may disagree sometimes, but we always try to honor them in the things that we do and make sure that that they know that we have not forgotten the things that we have learned. That is a dynamic that the Bible teaches. That is a dynamic that the Bible, as a standard, wants families to do. So as a Christian, we cannot back an organization that is promoting the dismantling of such things. I hope that makes sense. I hope that anyone listening to this who thinks, if you say you don't support Black Lives Matter, I'm just going to unfollow you, blah, blah, blah. I hope that you understand that we cannot back an organization that directly goes against the things that the Bible teaches, okay? And then on top of that, defunding the police, something that doesn't even make sense, something that practically does not make sense, especially when you look at the way that it's been playing out with the riots and how there's been need of federal aid because the police are not funded enough to be able to handle these situations, how even Black communities are asking for more police. I just cannot back an organization that makes these claims and decisions and is always followed by violence, is always followed by violence and riots and anger and hatred, and honestly, racism on the other side, saying that all white people are against them, saying that all cops are racist and just attacking and oppressing them. I do not think that anything justifies what we have seen in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, in Kenosha, in LA. I don't think anything justifies what we've been seeing. And it doesn't make sense. Okay, again, it doesn't make sense that people are so quick to join the bandwagon, jump on the bandwagon, raise their voices up for things that, again, frontal lobe, they need to use their frontal lobe, where the facts haven't even come out yet. The facts haven't even come out yet, and we don't have the full story, and we don't know if who's innocent and who's guilty in all these different situations. We haven't seen all the footage. Even if all the footage is out, the news medias aren't showing all the footage, and they're not telling the full story because everybody has their agendas and everything. People are so quick to jump on a bandwagon and not listen to reason and not listen to the facts and the truth. And a lot of these people are associated with BLM. I cannot support an organization that does those things. And
a lot of it is just smoke screening so that people will, they like you said, they don't release all the videos, they don't release all the information because they want people to be misled. If they mislead people initially to support their cause, and this has been the trend, if you tell them a lie at the beginning, they'll believe the lie even when the truth comes out. And that's like, was it CNN or MSNBC with the mostly peaceful?
All of them are saying mostly peaceful protests with flaming businesses and flaming houses in the background as their backdrops. It's insanity. It's
there was one in particular that said violent protests. There was one in particular that actually said that in the bar on the bottom, where immediately after it was aired, they pulled it down, retracted the word violent, and put it right back up. Because they knew it looks better. It looks better for BLM. It looks better for the Democratic politicians that are pushing the agenda of defund police. They know that it looks good. And they don't care about if it's actually good for the people. They don't care about if the policies are actually plausible, if they're actually attainable, if they actually do any good. They just care that it sounds good or that it looks good so that they can mislead people to doing whatever they tell them to.
Yeah. And And what is the result? Is you're seeing rioting, you're seeing looting, you're seeing businesses being taken advantage of, you're seeing communities at unrest, the surrounding communities not knowing whether they're next or whether they're going to be attacked by these people. You're seeing politicians strategically denounce the rioting and the looting, but still promoting the organizations that it's happening under. You're seeing news coverage showing the rioting and looting, and yet blaming Trump for it. I don't know what Trump has to do with these riots here. He's actually part of the solution on how to end them. But when they call them peaceful protests, they call them mostly peaceful. And you can obviously see that they're not. But when you call them mostly peaceful and say that they're just exercising their right to peacefully protest, and then Trump says, I can send aid to help end this and enforce the law, enforce the curfews that are supposed to be in place, enforce the fact that we don't want this to get violent, enforce the law in not burning down buildings. I think that's a law, right? You're not supposed to burn down buildings, right? I don't think you're supposed to do that. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. So enforcing the law instead of inviting him in, a lot of these states and cities are not inviting him in, and in fact saying, don't come here, and then saying that you caused these riots and you expect me to, Portland, Oregon, either of the city or of the state, the political leader was saying that you started these riots with your racism and your mean words and all these different things, and you expect me to clean it up. Well, it's your job, for one, but he's also not expecting you to clean it up. He's also saying, I will go and send you aid. It's just so backwards. It's just so backwards right now. And it makes Trump look fascist to send in troops and to send in aid for these peaceful protesters, because all they're doing is being peaceful, right? It's just it's outrageous. It's insane. You can't make this up. You can't make it up.
And this is something else that I'd like to point out, that we were raised to take responsibility for our actions. Anything I do is my responsibility. Anything Adam does is his responsibility, no matter who tells you to do it. If I told Adam to jump off a bridge and he jumped off a bridge, that's on him. He did it. It's his actions. Trump's words, the things that he says, even if they were direct calls to actions, which they're not, he has actively gone against violence from either side multiple times. But even if his words caused people to commit actions, the people who committed the actions are ultimately the ones responsible. The ones burning down buildings, the ones burning down businesses, African American owned businesses, African American communities that are being torn up and burned. They're hurting their own people, but they don't care because they're angry. They think that because they're angry, they can do whatever they want. And, well, he said something, so I'm mad, so I'm going to do something. Ultimately, it's his fault. It's not.
And the other thing, too, is that they've already decided what justice looks like for themselves. They've already decided that they want justice for things that have happened, which I'm going to be completely honest with everybody. The whole Jacob Blake situation does not look good for Jacob Blake, okay? It does not look good for him. Why would you resist arrest? You got tased. You got force was used on you to try to keep you from resisting arrest, and then you walk away. Why would you do that? And then you reach into your car. That doesn't make sense. If you're trying not to get killed, okay? And I know this. Andrew, you know this, right? If you don't want a cop pointing a gun at you, you do what he says, right? We were told that. We've always been told that.
And that's a myth, too, where African-American families are saying, oh, they have to give their children a talk about how to deal with police, how to act when they're pulled over. Every parent should give their child that talk.
Yes,
We've been given that talk.
100%.
When you get stopped, they have authority over you, regardless of the situation. If they have specified that they are pulling you over for any reason, they have authority. You do what they say. You don't do anything else.
And that's not your opportunity to twiddle your thumbs and put your hands behind your back and start reaching behind the seat. No, you get pulled over, and I'll be honest, I hate having a police car around me. I hate it. You know why? Because I speed, and I text and drive. So don't do what I do, kids. But
I don't break the law at all on the road, and I still feel uncomfortable.
But when you've got
that commanding presence is part of their job.
Exactly.
You want to make sure you're following the law when you're around them, and that's part of what they do.
Exactly. That's why they drive around. It's not just because they're on their way to a donut shop, although some of them probably are. They're there to enforce the law. And so when you get pulled over, you get your hands in plain sight. Put them on the wheel, or put them wherever the heck they tell you to put them, okay? We've been told this from a young age, okay? And I hope that every single parent tells their children to respect police, because guess what? They do have a gun, and you don't want to get shot with it. No matter what color you are, no matter what race you are, no matter how old you are, you do not want to be put in a situation where you are on the other side of that barrel of the gun, okay? And you don't want to be pointing a barrel of the gun at a police officer at all, ever, because then you are asking to get retaliation, okay? You don't do these things, no matter what color you are, no matter what race you are. So when it comes to the situation with Jacob Blake, from all the videos we've seen, it does not look good for him, okay? And I understand 7 shots sounds excessive. I don't understand that either. It's not my job to defend the cop. It's not your job to defend the cop either, okay? It's not your job to condemn the cop. It's not your job to defend Jacob Blake. They are going to investigate the facts. They're going to figure this out, and then it's going to come out in court. That is what justice is, okay? If Jacob Blake is guilty and these cops are innocent and all of it makes sense and we saw the video and it's beyond that reasonable doubt, we have to accept that that is justice. But BLM has already decided what justice is in their head, and they are going to try to enforce it. This whole situation with Kyle, too, over at the Kenosha protests, again, everyone was so quick to jump on the bandwagon of saying this is a militia, extremist Trump supporter who is just out to shoot protesters. Let me tell you some facts, okay? He was there to protect businesses, which he shouldn't have done. He shouldn't have been out there. There was a curfew, absolutely, okay? He shouldn't have been there. Neither should
there was a curfew. He was 17. He was...
Yeah.
There were still things wrong with the situation. We're not saying he was some righteous warrior for the side of good. There was still things wrong with the situation, of course.
Yeah, all of them shouldn't have been there, okay? All of them should have been home playing video games, okay? None of them should have been at the protest, okay?
Maybe not Call of Duty, but...
he was there with the intent to protect businesses. He was there with the intent to protect people. He did not just have a gun. He had a first aid kit with him. He said in an interview before any of this stuff happened that I'm here to protect the businesses. I'm here to protect the protesters. I'm here to protect you. If anybody needs me, I'm going to help them. If anybody needs medical aid, I'm going to try to give it to them. He was trying to be a good Samaritan in a really crappy situation. That was his intent. His intent was not to go there and shoot people up, okay? He had an AR-15, semi-automatic, not military style, not automatic. It was a gun that probably a bunch of other people at the protest had there because Wisconsin has open carry laws. He was 18, shouldn't have had the gun. But in the series of events that happened there, it looks like, based off of the videos and based off of his defense, that Joseph, the first person who was provoking him, chased him and cornered him and tried to take his gun away, and that he used the gun in self-defense. And after he uses the gun in self-defense, the other protesters heard the shots, came running after him thinking that he murdered him, which is understandable. So they were trying to be good people and try to stop someone with a gun, but the guy with the gun, Kyle, was running away from them. He was retreating, and as he was retreating, he fell down. And as he fell down, that's when Anthony, the guy with the skateboard, came and attacked him with the skateboard, thinking he was doing something noble, but all of it was just a big misunderstanding. He attacked him as he's being surrounded by the mob. That's when he uses his gun to defend himself against Anthony. And then this other guy, Gage, actually did have a gun, pointed it at him, came up to him, he stopped and hesitated, and Kyle showed self-restraint, not shooting him, but then Gage decided to move further forward, and that is when Kyle ended up shooting him in the arm. That was the third person who was injured. This is a very messy situation that, you know what? I'm not going to defend Kyle because he shouldn't have been there. I'm not going to defend the other people either because they shouldn't have been there either. But this is a messy situation that no one knows exactly how this is going to play out. So we have to wait to see what the facts are as they come out, and we have to wait to see what the actual justice is. But again,
and I think Adam can agree with me on this. We don't want you to take our word for it. We want you to look for it for yourselves, do your own research, but please, if you're going to do that, pull it from different sources. Pull it from all resources available. The videos, the first-hand accounts, the people who are interviewed after the fact. Because so many people, they see these posts on Facebook, and I've seen a couple of them just today, where they're equating the guy who was shot 7 times in the back with the fact that Kyle was able to walk by police after having shot people and not receive any retaliation. Right. Those were 2 very different situations. The cops were called to an active shooter, and when he walked by, he was not displaying any kind of aggression. He made it a point that he was not a threat.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, people will take those posts, people will take the headlines, and they'll take those as absolute facts. We want our listeners to, because we'll bring up political stuff again. We'll bring up these kind of situations again. When we bring these up, look for yourselves. Find all of the evidence available, not just from the ones that you've normally taken information from, not just the ones on the opposing side. Take all of the information and come to a conclusion yourselves. We just want to bring attention to the subject that there is not only one side to every story.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. When this first all came out, I was like, what the heck was this kid doing there? Why the heck did this kid have a gun? What the heck is going on with these protests? Now the other side's going to start fighting back, and this is just outrageous and it's chaotic. I didn't know the full story. I didn't know that there was open carry. I didn't know that he came there to protect the businesses and had a med pack with him, and it was trying to help people, and had already kept protesters from burning down a church, and then went to this other business. I didn't know all these things. I had to go and figure out what the other side of the story was, because I too only heard what news was saying that he was had a military style weapon, was there to shoot protesters, and he was influenced by Trump, and Trump is fueling all this racism. And come on, people, look at both sides, okay? And you do have to put a little work in, okay? Unfortunately, we are living in a day where us as regular people need to look at all the information on both sides of the extremes to find out what the heck the truth is in the middle, because unfortunately our news stations are not doing that for us. They are picking apart things that they want to say, they're omitting the things that they don't want to say, and they are creating a story. They're creating a story so that you believe it and that you are influenced by it. We even had to tell our own mother what happened. And these are the things that literally have video evidence, video proof and evidence. Okay? And unfortunately, our certain, I shouldn't say our, but certain political figures are picking a side. And they're sticking to that side even though it's not the side of truth. Okay? Celebrities are picking a side, and unfortunately it's not the side of facts and truth and justice. Athletes are picking a side, and it's not the side of truth and facts and justice. Okay, if you jump to conclusions and you label someone guilty of something they're not guilty of, that's not the truth. Okay, if you jump to conclusions and say no justice, no peace, and you start screaming saying, well, wait a second, what if it is justice? What if it was justified? What if Jacob Blake is guilty? What if Kyle is innocent? That would still be justice, but you're saying no justice, no peace, and you're still not giving your mostly peaceful protests. You're giving riots and you're giving looting. Well, then what are we to do as a society? We have to value truth. We have to value real justice. But that's only going to come if we wait for it to happen, if we wait to find out what all the information is and actually say, what was the intent, what were the events that led up to this, and is this person actually guilty or innocent? We have to give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
And another important aspect of this is don't believe something just because of who said it. Don't think that because your favorite actor, your favorite athlete, your favorite politician, the person you're planning on voting for, because they said something that makes it truth. It isn't. There are a lot of things that people will jump on the bandwagon because it'll advance their career. They'll jump on the bandwagon because it's the same bandwagon that they've been on. Any and every situation, even with things that that me and Adam agree with, we still look into it. We still want to know all of the facts of a situation, even if it sounds good to us as is, because we want to know the truth, not just the sugar-coated lie.
Yeah. Honestly, I've read way more news articles that I don't agree with, and watched more news article videos that I don't agree with, and had to fact check things that I think are true and find out maybe they're not true. You know, like, this takes work. The truth takes work to find. Okay, and it's, you know, the verse that talks about how wide is the road that leads to destruction, but narrow is the path to righteousness, and few will find it. Like, this is so true right now. Like, so many people are believing in things that are like, that may or may not be true, but it doesn't matter to them. What they believe is what they believe, and they're going to stick with it. No one is like fine tuning in what is the truth, what is the actual things that have happened, and what is the actual result. Is it that he's innocent, or is it that he's guilty? And people are not using their frontal lobe in that risk analysis of saying, okay, well, if I am protesting for something that's not even true, what is going to be the consequence of that? If I'm voting for someone that isn't feeding me truth, or isn't feeding me the reality, or watching a news station that is not feeding me reality, then what's the consequence of that? The consequence is people don't know what the truth is, and they believe in lies, and they buy into the stories that are being told, and people get hurt that way.
This comes back to the whole open conversation, open discussion, varying points of view that are restricted because they don't want to hear what the truth is. The same applies to going out and finding research, finding the evidence to support one claim or another, one side of the story or another, being able to understand that neither side is 100% right starting out. It takes both sides coming together, discussion, arguments. Well, you're wrong because it might be this, it might be this. I would much rather have conversations with people who disagree with me. I have made it a point all through school, and this is why I got in trouble a lot in high school, to have conversations with people who disagreed with me, especially those who came to me for the conversation, because if they don't understand something, I want to help them understand why I believe it. If I don't understand something, I want them to help me understand it. But of course, most of the time it turned into, well, you don't know what you're talking about, so your opinion doesn't matter. What you have to say doesn't matter because I'm right and you're wrong. And it helps no one to be in an echo chamber. It helps no one to be surrounded by like-minded people. I enjoy conversations with Adam, and there are a couple of things where we might vary in our beliefs every once in a while, and most of the time we agree with each other. And those are conversations we'll come together, share what we found talking to other people. But the most meaningful, the most educational conversations that we could have are with people who completely disagree with our point of view.
Yeah.
But people who are willing to have the conversations.
And we want those. We want those conversations. We want to be like, I personally, and I can speak for Andrew too, we do not want to believe something that's not true. Okay? We don't want to believe something that's not true. When we find out that what we think is not true, I think it's devastating, right? It's like, oh man, I feel like,
because now everything that I've done as a result of believing that's true, that's something that I've done wrong.
Yeah,
that's something that I had faith in that got taken away from me, and then all of those actions, that whatever it could have been, if we had gone to the riots, let's assume if we had thought that those things were true, we went to the riots, we're angry, we're doing whatever, and then we found out that we were wrong. Other people, they'd be like, well, no, that's not true because I already did this. I honestly believe that me and Adam, if we were in that situation, which I don't think we ever would be, we would be devastated. We'd be, how can I undo what I've done, knowing that there's nothing that we could do? We do our best to remedy the situation
And
because that's just what's in our hearts. We want to help people. We don't want to be the bad guy.
we want to hear your opinions. We want to know your thoughts, because this is all in all a messy situation. And again, we don't want to make it seem like we think this Kyle kid is a hero. I've always taken the stance since the first time I heard about this news. He should not have been there. Those protesters should not have been there. Skillet from Skillet from John Cooper. No, John Cooper from Skillet lives in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He lives right there. He was on Fox and Friends explaining the kind of situation that he was in there. I just had finished before this podcast watching over there. That's his beard right there. That's his logo. Listening to his podcast Cooper stuff, as he was explaining what was going on there, and how he has even said that they tried to use them repairing their own city as a news for they were painting over BLM. He was saying that they were trying to repair their businesses and repair their city, and the news made it white people are covering over the BLM protesting graffiti and stuff, and they were making it seem like it was a bad thing. And he's like, wow, I cannot believe that they were trying to paint this narrative that that's what was happening, when they were literally coming together as a community and even worshiping together with songs outside, and they were praying together. They were trying to recover from the damage that was made. And news is still trying to make it a place of hostility. That's not right. That's not truth. That is not truth. It's insane. I've driven myself crazy just trying to make sense of it in my own head. But yeah, we don't want you to think that we are on the other extreme either. Okay, we don't think Trump is a great person. We don't think Trump is.
I've made it very clear to people close to me that when it comes to his character, this is why I try to keep character out of politics. You're a good politician. You can be a bad person and a good politician. We don't like a lot of the things he says. We don't like a lot of his what would be described as his demeanor. But the things that he stands for, the policies that he has said he would bring about, are things, most of them anyway, are things that we can support. Things that we want, especially in conflict with that of the other side.
And Andrew didn't watch most of either the DNC or the RNC, but I did. And
I watched some of the DNC.
Yeah, and I know that Biden is a great guy. Like, Biden seems like a really nice guy. He seems like, the story of how he met his wife, really cute, really great story. He's been through a lot of stuff in his life. Like, I have a lot of respect for someone who can endure as much loss as he does. I don't think that he's a bad person. And I don't think that people that are Democrats are bad people. I don't think that people who are Republicans are just good people, and vice versa. I don't even think that people who support BLM are bad people. I know that there are great people, friends of mine, people who I've even trained, who I'm literally in conversations with back and forth, trying to make sense of this, because we're arguing about, I just don't understand their suffering, and I just don't understand their oppression, and I never will. We really don't have a say. All these different talking points, but it comes down to, what is the truth of the matter? What is the truth? Where is the justice? Who is innocent? Who is guilty? And we need to bring it back to that. We need to bring it back to truth. And I actually just said this to a client, Andrew, that I'm among the few people in the world who believe that a good person is capable of doing bad things and a bad person is capable of doing good things. I feel like nobody wants to say that. Nobody wants to say that nowadays, that a good person can do bad things and a good person or a bad person can do good things. But that is the world that we're living in right now. I don't hate supporters of BLM. I don't hate people who are misled by not following the truth. I wish that everybody would care and value truth and justice And even for myself, I value truth and justice enough to take the time to go and look for it, to go and find it, so that when I talk about this stuff, I'm not just spitting out noise and no justice, no peace. Someone's got to pay. That's what our justice system is there for.
The people that are doing that too, they want to have something to hate. They want the people who believe that white people are oppressing them, that white people are racist, they hate them. When one person finds someone that disagrees with them, they find it in their hearts to hate them, to say, well, you're wrong. You disagree with me, therefore you must hate me, and therefore I hate you. I can say, and again, me and Adam have been doing this a lot, speaking for each other. I can speak for Adam, and I'd like to say that I speak for the vast majority of Christians. We are not called to hate. We have no room in our heart for hate. We are called to love, specifically the people who don't know Christ, specifically the people who disagree with us, specifically the people who would harm us. When we find someone who disagrees with us, we find it in our heart to love them even more, because we know that they might need that love. They might need our understanding to whether or not they want it. If trying to think of a good example of this.
Well, and I'll even add this as you think. Look, I could try to reason with you about a lot of this stuff and explain why maybe what the Bible says about a certain thing might be good for society, or why I was raised this way to believe this because it might be good for society, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to for us is that the Bible teaches it. We believe in the Bible as God's word, and this is just what we're called to do. This is just what we're called to do. I'm not going to agree with you that a man or a boy who has grown up as a man or a boy should I don't even know what it's called anymore, transition into being a woman. I believe as an adult you can do whatever you want, but I don't think it's right. Okay? That's what the Bible teaches. And I just don't believe it's right. You can do it. I will love you. I have respect for you as a person, as a human being. I just don't think it's right. And you have to respect that. Okay? Abortion. The Bible teaches that murder is murder. And unfortunately, if you are trying to take out a baby from your body and try to end a pregnancy, that is murder. That's just what the Bible teaches. I can't get behind that. I can't support that.
And there was two people in particular, and this is what I was trying to think of. There were two people in particular in high school, and when I got into college, they continued to contact me, that would always find something to argue with me about. And it was always topics like that: abortion, transitioning, homosexuality, and my views on it, religion even. And while one of them would always come with their own side of facts that didn't really lead us anywhere, because we both agreed to disagree, they're very respectful. There was another, I'm not going to say his name, but he would always come ready to fight. He would always come ready to tear me down, find any answer to anything that I said. But every conversation we had ended with him backing down, or, like I said before, him saying, well, your opinion doesn't matter. But every time that he came, I came with an open heart. And I think Adam might be calling me out on this because he doesn't believe me. But yes, a lot of the conversations I had in high school were with an open heart. I was not looking for fights. I was not looking for someone to beat down. I'm very argumentative. If that hasn't come across.
You were looking to debate.
I was not. I wasn't.
You were looking.
I wasn't. He always came to me. But when it happened, I felt love in my heart for him because I wanted this to stop, not for his sake, or not for my sake, but for his sake. Because every time that he came, he wasn't looking for us to discuss. He wasn't looking for me to explain my side and him to explain his. He was looking to beat me down. And that only opened my heart up for more love because I knew he needed it. I knew that whatever hate, resentment that he had in his heart towards me, I felt bad. that he felt the need to hate me for reasons that really had nothing to do with either of us, but had to do with whatever views we didn't share. And that's where we're called as Christians to love the people that disagree with us, love those who would trespass against us, those who would do us harm.
Yeah.
And I know Adam agrees with that too.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. We have love for everyone, for all people. And I think, and I really do hope, I haven't done this as well as I should have for a lot of different people. And it had nothing to do with these issues, and it had everything to do with me as a person. I was not a great friend growing up. Every single time I would move up a grade, every single time I would go from middle school to high school to college, I got caught up in things that I was involved with, and I feel like I always left friends behind. It was difficult for me to keep connections with people, and purely because I just wasn't a good friend during those times. But I have never not given support or not given love or not given help to anyone because of them disagreeing with me on matters like that, because I want them to see and I want to prove to them that just because I disagree with them does not mean that I don't care about them. So, especially when you work in an industry with fitness, where I've been singled out as someone who has been in an industry that doesn't necessarily align with Christianity, with fitness and wanting to be healthy and bring up things in your body to make your physical life better. I have been able to be introduced to a wide amount of people who all think different things, believe different things, and think different things and believe different things from me personally. And I have been able to love and respect and be there and support each and every one of them. So yeah, I don't think that as Christians we're called to hate on anybody. I don't think that as Christians we're called to spit on anybody or try to attack anybody. But at the same time, we are going to stand for what the Bible teaches. We are going to stand for that standard that the Bible encourages us in and calls us to. And you don't need us to, affirm. You don't need us to affirm you. Okay. You don't need us Christians to affirm you. You don't need us Christians to affirm that what you're doing is right or wrong. Everybody has their own decisions in their lives to do what they want, especially if you're an adult. Okay. But
we would like to clarify the fact that, like Adam has said in the podcast already, there are things that we don't get behind. People who have abortions, homosexuality, people who transition. We don't believe that those things are right because the Bible tells us they're not right, but we don't hate the people that do those things.
Yeah, we don't
hate homosexuals. We don't. Yes.
Yeah, we don't affirm the actions. We will always.
We still love the people.
So, Andrew, what's the answer? How do we get through the next couple of weeks leading into Election Day with so much hate and rioting and dissension?
Love and stocking up on ammunition. That's my answer to that question.
Ammunition for semi-automatic AR-15.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't think we're going to come out of this one unscathed. I do think that people are going to be divided regardless of the outcome of the next election, regardless of who ends up taking that seat, whether it's Trump for another 4 years or Biden. There's going to be division. There's going to be more division next year than there will be this year. But no matter what, we have to remember that whatever happens is ultimately in God's control and is ultimately used to our benefit. I don't think there's any other hope that we can have. We can hope all we want for our politician to win. We can hope all we want for the policies we want to pass, even if they don't. Even if it comes down to the entire country going completely the opposite of what we believe, completely the opposite of the Bible, completely the opposite of conservative values. Every law is stacked against us. We still have faith. we still have faith in our God. We still have faith in Christ, and we still have faith that ultimately it'll be used for our good.
And well, I am very forward looking to the future of the next 100. Look, when you look at it, I mean, come on, man. That's how the 20.
This election is going to be a landslide. My win, the space between his loss and my win are going to be huge.
I've been a part of a lot of elections, very many good ones. They've been really good. I know a lot of them. They're the best. That we run the best elections in America. I know them.
Haven't lost yet. Haven't.
Oh my gosh, the debates are going to be entertaining to watch, but.
Absolutely. Oh, who cares about which one wins? I want to see that video, watching them go back and forth, tripping over that's going to be hilarious. I don't care what they talk about. It's going to be hilarious.
If Biden is able to formulate a sentence, and if Trump doesn't put his foot in his mouth, we might actually have a successful debate. Maybe. If Biden doesn't change his topics as rapidly as rioters choose to change states, avoid a riot, and if Trump, doesn't call Biden too many names, then yes, we might actually have a successful debate. But it won't be as entertaining because we all know Biden won't be able to formulate sentences. He is going to change topics rapidly, and most definitely Trump is going to call him names and put his foot in his mouth.
As long as he doesn't make the same outlandish claims that he did the first time. Do you remember when he said, I could go out on the street and shoot somebody and the polls would still go up? As true as that might have been.
No, you don't say that.
Yeah, you don't say that.
No. But yeah. I think this has been an interesting episode. This is the formula that we like to talk in, of just, talking to you guys about us, talking about our lives and music, and then thrusting the knife in with politics and twisting it towards the end of the podcast, bringing in the real hard stuff to listen to. But
and we did give you fair warning. I made it very clear I did not want to talk about this stuff, but it's what's happening. This is our world. These are the kind of things that
we got to talk about. What's happening. And unfortunately, I don't see enough people who are standing up for these things and standing up for like facts. What in what world are at least facts not valued? It's been so crazy to see. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave us a 5-star rating and review. We want to get back here talking to you about more fun stuff, maybe even more politics. As we get closer to the elections, I'm sure we're going to be a little bit more political. Stick with us, because once the elections are done and COVID-19 is gone, we're going to get right back to giving you some fun stories. We want to lean more towards music. We want to lean more towards the fun aspects of our culture, and not burning cities and riots and division in our country. Unfortunately, that's just what's all over right now. So that's what we're talking about. But stick with us as we continue on through this podcast. We're having fun. In the next episode, make sure you grab your drink. I've got my 3D. Andrew's got his Monster. I'll most likely have a Monster next time as well. But grab your
one
drink.
that he's stolen from our fridge.
Quite possibly. Grab your drink. Give us a listen. Subscribe so that you can be notified for all new episodes. And until next time,
take care now.
Bye-bye then.